Now let's talk about the end, thank goodness, of the special session in Nashville that was just full of news, Otis and Catherine and Tawan, but not a lot of substance. There was just a lot of things on the periphery. No one really seemed to get really serious about legislation. I think we only have 3 bills that actually are going to Governor Lee's desk. Governor Lee, the one who called the special session. So as I run through all the observations, you got Governor Lee there, who calls the special session and gets hit from both Democrats and Republicans for being a no-show pretty much through the entire special session. Then there was the shoving that occurred on the last day of the special session, and finger pointing and what have you, and threats of an assault charge as Representative Justin Pearson and Justin Jones are leaving the House floor with the House Speaker right in front of them. That got really tangled up and nasty. You have all the parents who were banned from being able to express their opinion on a sign in committee rooms at the state capitol. Parents, the court intervened and said that, yeah, they can bring their signs, but the fact that the legislature would be against that to me was a disgrace. The parents themselves who thought something might get done, maybe the red flag law, nothing happened there. And then the Republicans, infighting amongst themselves between the House and the Senate. They couldn't get along and decide how many bills were going to go from one chamber to the other, and they finally just, after so many, on and on. And I haven't mentioned the cost. This costs taxpayers almost $60,000 a day, and that doesn't include the overtime and pay for the troopers who were providing security there. So it's just a comedy of errors. And Otis, you feared it was going to be terrible, and it was worse.
It's what I've been saying all along, ever since going all the way back to May, I believe, when this first came up. There are a lot of factors. You just enunciated all of this very well, Richard. But I go to 2 things. One is the utter failure of leadership by the governor and by those in charge of the supermajority, all levels. And the second thing is the people who got hurt the worst in this were the parents. The coveting parents, the other protesters who were there, who had their First Amendment rights to free speech and petition just trampled all over by this legislature. This makes our legislature a total laughingstock, a national embarrassment, and all of them should hang their heads in shame.
It was a national story. Gosh darn it, we just aren't happy unless our lawmakers are making national headlines, Catherine. And our local representation did their best. Of course, it's primarily Democrats, but even we had Representative Gillespie and Brent Taylor trying to get some reasonable gun safety measures through that polls show most Tennesseans, yes, including Republicans, support, but even they were stomped on.
Yeah, it really strikes me. Last time I think I was here, I said, well, we'll see who wins out. Is it going to be the lobbyist groups, or is it going to be the people, both Democrats and Republicans, who actually want common sense gun laws? And we really saw that kind of strike contrast there. You saw the Covenant mothers, and then you also heard about emails coming from the Tennessee Rifle Association. And I think we see who won.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah, unfortunately, the gun lobby continues to have a stranglehold on our state house.
It will be interesting to see what happens the next election cycle, because I don't think you've heard the last from these grieving mothers.
Right.
And I don't think you've heard the last from people in our state who wants to see reasonable, balanced gun safety measures. Nobody wants to take nobody's gun, but people do want to make sure that people who have guns are cognizant enough to know how and when to use them, and that they are responsible individuals.
I got 60 seconds left in this segment. I would be remiss, Otis, not to talk about former state senator Brian Kelsey of Germantown.
Another tragedy.
Another embarrassment, really.
The man pleads guilty to violating federal campaign finance laws. Decides, no, I don't want to plead guilty, after agreeing to it.
Right.
Saying I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
The federal judge says, yeah, you did know what you're doing. You're a trained lawyer. You're also an experienced lawmaker. You knew exactly what you were doing when you pleaded guilty. Then now, this week, he's decided to ask to appeal his guilty plea. I guess that's what he's doing. Because he thinks prosecutors shouldn't have told the judge to give a maximum penalty of 21 months, which they did because he couldn't, the back and forth over his guilty plea.
Right.
When is this guy going to finally just admit, you got 21 months, bro?
This is, this is a guy who just does not want to go to jail.
And I don't blame him.
And I don't blame him, but he committed a crime. And he pleaded guilty to the crime. He was sentenced for the crime. Go to jail, do your time, come out, and try to make a new life for yourself.
Yeah, he's lost his law license. I mean, it's not good. All right,
Go
we're
directly to
go ahead.
jail. Go
directly to jail. Do not pass go. Okay.
Go to jail.
All right, we're going to leave it there. When we come back, we're going to talk about some interesting developments downtown, some good, some not so good. We'll be right back.